Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah, Barakatah Yahweh, Barakatah Yahweh Shah. All praises to Yahweh by Hashem Yahweh Shah, by Hashem Rekakadash. Yahweh be the name of the Heavenly Father. Yahweh Shah be the name of His only begotten Son, who they ignorantly call Jesus Christ. Now the mystery of the Gentile is known by the heathen because they put it in their biblical dictionaries and commentaries, and they understand that usually it means a non-Israelite, but in some instances where it don't mean an Israelite, like in Isaiah 11. In Isaiah 11, it breaks down that these Israelites was in other nations and they were scattered abroad. Now, another thing, in John chapter 7 and 35, we talk about the diaspora. In John 10 or John 11, let me get those right quick. Those are some of the key scriptures. Let's see here, John 7:35. They say, then said the Jews among themselves, whither will he go, that we shall not find him? Will he go into the dispersed among the Gentiles to teach the Gentiles? So here Yahushua, or the Jews, is calling they're calling the dispersed Israelites Gentiles. The Jews are calling the dispersed Israelites Gentiles. Now let's see what these heathens got in their biblical definition of the dispersed. Okay, when you look up that word dispersed, it goes back to diaspora. It means the scattering or the dispersion. Scattering of who? Of Israelites dispersed among the foreign nations, meaning the Israelites scattering. Okay, and then they call them Christians because that's what heathens do. Of the Christian Israelites scattered abroad among the Gentiles, and so they called these individuals Gentiles. You see, the Jews called them Gentiles. So that's why when you go in the New Testament, you see them talking about Gentiles. They was going to get and teach the Gentiles that was Israelites. Okay. Now when you go to John 11, let's see here, 49, 50, 51, 52. Okay. It say, and one of them named Caiaphas, being high priest that same year, said unto them, ye know nothing at all. 50. Nor consider that it is expedient for us that one man shall die for the people, and that the whole nation perish not. You see, it's talking about the nation. And he prophesied, because these are prophecies that is concerning the nation of Israel. 51. And this spake him not of himself. So this is the Most High talking through him. But being high priest that year, he prophesied that Yahushua should die for that nation. 52. This is where the diaspora come in. And not for that nation only, but that also he gathered together in one the children of God that were scattered abroad. See, who was scattered abroad? The Israelites. That because of disobedience, let's get that. 28, 25. 28:25, he said, the Lord shall cause thee to be smitten before thy enemy. Thou shalt go out one way against them, and flee 7 ways before them, and shall be removed into all the kingdoms of the earth. Okay, jump down to 64, he repeated it. It says, and the Lord shall scatter you among all people. You see, so the Israelites were scattered. That's why they had to be gathered together. Let's get that prophecy. See, they knew about the gathering. Let's see here. Let's see the gathering. Here we go. 28. It say, then shall they know that I am the Lord their God, which caused them to be led into captivity among the heathen, but I have gathered them unto their own land, and have left none of them any more there. So this is the prophecy that Apostle Paul was going to fulfill. He was going to gather those Israelites. You see, when you go into Acts chapter 9, let's see here. He said, now, let's see here. He talked about the Gentiles. Let's see here. And it was a major situation because the Israelites had pretty much got to the point where they didn't want to deal with anybody living outside of the law. If you wasn't keeping the law, they wasn't dealing with you, and they weren't dealing with their own people. If they broke the law, they would want to stone them. But Acts 9, it talked about Paul going to these Gentiles that was among the heathen. Okay, honest, boldly against, said, verse 29, it said, he spoke boldly in the name of the Lord Yahushua and disputed against the Grecians. Who spoke boldly? He talking about Barnabas took him, brought him to the apostles, and declared unto them how he had seen the Lord in the way. Okay, and he was with them going in and going out at Jerusalem. So he spoke boldly about the Grecian, because let's go back to that in Acts 6. Acts 6, it talks about these Grecians in the first verse. Now that Grecians goes back to Greek-speaking Jews. Let me get that real quick, Salakia. Let's go to Acts. But see, you saw it said Grecian. Watch this. 6, 1. Let me get the Bible Hub and see what this thing said. All right, let's see here. Okay. Hellenistic Jews. You see, Greek-speaking believers. See how they try to hide the fact that these were Jews, Grecian Jews. See, when he said disputing with the Grecian, he wouldn't talk about no Greeks or no Edomites that was living in those lands. He was talking about the Jews that were living in that land. Hellenists, Grecians, Hellenist Jews. You see, Hellenistic Jews. See, Hellenistic Jews, Greek-speaking Jews. You see, it's a clear understanding. And Paul was speaking boldly about these people because he was going to fulfill those prophecies, knowing that you got to gather Israel. Israel got to be gathered, and all of them, the diaspora, they had a chance to believe on Yahushua, and he understood that, and Yahushua gave him that understanding through the Spirit. Now, let's see here. Let's go back here. And so that's what the situation was about, and that circumcision thing in chapter 15, that was a thing. But look at chapter 29 or 26. Come on now. Chapter 26, Salakia. Let me get chapter 26 right quick and see what Paul did. Now, the end of Acts is around the time when Paul was finna be put to death, because Acts was written around 62. Paul got put to death about 67. Let's see here. Okay, I found it. Now, Paul, in Acts 26, he let it be known that this is what the mission he was on. He went on a mission to go get some heathens and gather together some heathens that was just believing in the Savior of a nation they don't even know nothing about. Or if they know something about him, they just hoping and wishing that they could be a part of the nation. But most of them was jealous and hating on the nation anyway. But anyway, verse 6 said, "Now I stand and am judged for the hope of the promise made of God unto our fathers, unto which promise our 12 tribes instantly serving God day and night hope to come." See, and when you keep making these statements, you got Benjamin, Judah, Levi is the only tribes that's serving the Most High, and that's in Jerusalem. You see, them are the main tribe that's in Jerusalem. So for him to say 12 tribes, he's trying to fulfill those promises that was in Ezekiel, that was in Jeremiah, that was in Isaiah, for the whole 12 tribes. And let's get the promise, the ultimate promise. See, the ultimate promise. It say, "But Israel shall be saved in the Lord with an everlasting salvation. He shall not be ashamed nor confounded, world without end." You see, the whole nation of Israel had to be saved. Let's get that in Romans. He talked about this in Romans. And I don't see how these wacky Christians talking about something else. What did he say? He said, "Brethren, my heart's desire and prayer to God is for Israel, that they might be saved." See, he's gathering the nation of Israel. He's letting it be known clearly. Now, is it 10 or 11? I think it's 11. He talks about Israel. He started off, which they didn't have chapters and verses, but he started the thought off of God did not cast away his people, because there has been a notion that's been going around. But he made a statement, I think at the very end of the verse, or close to the end. What is that statement that he made? Bingo, 26. Let's highlight this. See, this is what he understood, and he got that from Isaiah 45:17 plus Isaiah 59. 26 says, and so all Israel, all the 12 tribes shall be saved, meaning they have a chance to be saved, as it is written. There shall come out of Zion the deliverer, and shall turn away ungodliness from Jacob. Then verse 27 it says, for this is the covenant unto them. See, it's a covenant at all of them. And that was his mission, man, to gather the children of Israel. Let's go back to 10 or 9, Salakia. Now 9, he brings up Hosea. Hosea was another verse talking about gathering the children of Israel from the diaspora. And he brought up the Gentiles in 24. He said, not only the Jews, meaning Judah, Benjamin, and Levi, but also the Gentiles, the diaspora, the scattered Jews. And in those lands, Hosea was saying in those lands, they wasn't going to be called Israelites. He said, you are not my people. See, in that place, the place of captivity, they weren't going to be called Israelites. But then it said, there shall they be called the children of the living God, in the same place. And that's he quoted the thing about the Israelites. Hosea was all about the Israelites. Let's get that. I'll close out on that. Hosea was not about gathering anybody that was not his people. See, it was not about gathering anybody that was not his people. Hosea chapter 1, verse 10. It says, yet the children of Israel shall be as the sand of the sea, which cannot be measured nor numbered. And it shall come to pass that in the place where it is said unto them, ye are not, see, unto them, the Israelites, you are not my people. Not to no Gentile that's not an Israelite. And then the ultimate goal is in verse 11. Then shall the children of Judah and the children of Israel be gathered together. That's the mission that Apostle Paul was on. Now, it's another thing I want to bring out, because this is what these Christians do not get into. Salakia. Look at when he wrote these things. Romans was written in his third missionary journey. That was almost at the end. Now Peter, mind you, Peter said don't get it confused, because he said a lot of stuff and he was talking about Gentiles. He didn't come out and say a lot of stuff about the Israelites. He was saying Gentiles and Gentiles. He was just calling them Gentiles, and he wasn't being totally clear of who he was looking for. And so that's why Peter said, don't fall into destruction reading Paul's letters and not being learned of the history and what was going on, and cause yourself to be destroyed dealing with the law. Because they thought he was trying to get rid of the law. He was saying it's deeper than the law. It's about there being an election. It's an election that God elected, that these people was supposed to be saved, and that's deeper than them keeping the law. Keeping the law ain't making them being saved. It's that God elected them to be saved. They were preordained to be kings and priests to God, and that's the main thing that's gonna save them. Not them keeping some law. See, that's what he was trying to explain, but they couldn't get it. And Peter was the head apostle, and he wrote his book after Paul wrote all of his books, and he cleared it up in First Peter 2:9, and let you know it was about a holy nation, a chosen generation, a family, a bloodline. Those promises went to the Israelites. And Peter, when you read the book of Peter, he's not talking about no foreigners or peoples that's not of Israel. He's bringing out the same thing that the prophets brought out, that this is about the Israelites. In that Cornelius situation, Cornelius was one of the scattered. He was from the diaspora. See, right in the middle here, it say captive in Caesarea. These individuals was Israelites, man. Caesarea is in Israel. And Cornelius was just somebody in the military of the Romans. The Romans had just set up some peoples that was from the nation of Israel. And he was quick to volunteer or to get involved with that because he wasn't born in Jerusalem, or he wasn't doing the law all of his life. He got into doing the law and started his household to doing the law, but he wasn't naturally, he was considered a Gentile pretty much. And so once he realized what was going on and started following the law, and the angel came to him, everything rolled smoothly. But I'm gonna leave it down. This is a mirror too of what's going on here in Babylon the Great. That the blacks, Hispanics, and Native Americans, they are the Gentiles now. They don't understand who they go back to, and that they was the scattered Israelites in captivity. And the prophets is the ones doing the work of Paul, trying to let them know, y'all are Israelites. Y'all have to come back to the covenant. You have to renew your mind and be born again and know that you are an Israelite. You didn't know it when you was born the first time out of your mother's womb. But now you got to be born again and realize that you are an Israelite and live the life of an Israelite and accept the promises that's coming to you and fight for the covenant. But I'm going to leave it there. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashim Yahweh Shah, Bahashim Kakadash. Double honors to the elders pushing the truth. Peace to the elect worldwide. Our kingdom is at hand. Shalom.